And with me, I have Chad. If you want to say, hey, Chad.
Go guys.
Chad's on the CSM team, handling a lot of the enterprise accounts. Then we have Nick Love.
Hey, happy Thursday.
Nick, what do you do for Ambition?
I'm the product manager, so I'll be doing some show and tell, some demos for some of the new features that are coming out.
Awesome. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. So here's a quick agenda of what we're going to run through. I made the deck shark themed just for a good time. We're going to cover some new integrations, Giffy integration, Zoom integration, Slack integration, which I know what you're thinking, Slack integration already exists, but there's some new stuff coming there. We're going to demo the new coaching overview experience, Chad's favorite thing on here, custom time frame for leaderboards, some of the new Salesforce hierarchy and user configuration syncs, and then a few more smaller things too, like the VIP digest, coaching notes enhancements, multi-currency support, and the new analytics homepage. So first step is going to be the Giffy integration. And what this means for Ambition customers is that it's easier than ever to customize triggers. And there was actually a study in Forbes that I can see if I can find the link and chat it out, but culture comes before the sales is what the study was all about. Like building great culture around celebrating wins actually fuels your team to drive more sales. And honestly, this is big because it triggers into Slack, and Slack is the new sales floor for people right now. Chad had a really funny question about what if someone brings up an inappropriate GIF, and Nick will tell us all about it, but I think there's even a filter on that. So I'm going to stop share real quick and let Nick take it over to show you guys the Giffy integration.
All right, so can you see my screen? All good. So right now, this is turned off for our customers, but if you'd like early access to it, just email us at gethelp@ambition.com or reach out to your CSM to activate it. We are working to pull this in as a feature that you can activate or deactivate on your own. But right now, I'll just show you some of the functionality that we're using internally at Ambition. So right now, you can see the preview of the GIF that I've selected for this user's profile. Traditionally, it was hard to know if your GIF was going to work or not. So basically, if I pull in a different GIF, I'll see that preview. And the fun part here is this new search bar interface. So we have an API with Giffy that allows me to search for anything here. So I can put in like winning, and it pulls in the top GIFs that are under that tag. And as Chad had asked, you know, like, can I search for rated R type GIFs? And we actually have this filtered for rating G. So it keeps it PG, if you will. So that prevents people from pulling in GIFs, but also allowing users of any GIF knowledge an easy way to customize their experience with an Ambition and within triggers. So as I select...
I think that's a huge piece there, Nick, on the content there. I think one of the questions we all get at CSMs a lot from implementations and trainings and things like that is, well, how do we make sure that people are keeping things work appropriate? So this is a great tool that kind of takes the lifting off of managers to monitor and make sure that they're not seeing anything pop up on TVs that's, you know, too out in left field. So this is going to take some of that risk and some of that concern off the plates of our customers. So really excited about this update.
Mm-hmm.
And Nick, we
Definitely.
just got a question about it in the chat. So if you want to pull that up, instead of it rotating with your profile pic, it will have its own preview, ? And if people already have GIFs, will this be an automatic update?
Yes, and yes. So right now it'll have the preview. So any GIF that you choose from this, like I have some preset saved in my cookies. So if a user has these in their cookies, it'll just pull in that preview instead of having to hover over your profile photo to see it. And then if you'd like to turn it on today, sorry, the preview is available for everyone today, but this GIF, the Giffy button itself is not turned on yet. But if you would like early access to that, just let us know and we can turn it on for you.
You can email gethelp@ambition.com and they can get it on for you most likely today, I'd say, or reach out to your CSM directly if that's better. All right, I'm going to take back over share and we'll go on to the next thing, I think. Actually, hold on. Guys, my monitor situation is killing me. Okay, got it. I'm just going to keep it in this mode. All right, so after the Giffy integration, we have the Zoom integration, and some cool things about the Zoom integration are that you can reference and search transcripts from recorded Zoom calls right inside the coaching space in Ambition. So basically it makes it really easy to attach your Zoom transcript of like a recorded session over into your coaching, which is an added level of accountability and just helps bring more tools into Ambition to save from toggling between tools. Now this is not on yet. This is coming soon. Nick, do you have anything you can share about the Zoom integration?
Yeah, I can. We're going to release a bunch of documentation around how to set this up, how it works. But one really interesting use case for this is that when that transcript of the meeting is saved for that check-in, you can actually search for it. You can search content within that transcript. So if you go to check-ins and you go to the filters and you search for Shark, you can find every meeting with a transcript saved that has ever used the word Shark. So it's pretty neat for coaching improvements for HR teams that are trying to dig in and understand how their coaching sessions are going. And if you do save your meetings, you can also view the recordings for that. I think the default for a lot of people is 7 days to save the recording of the video. So we'll match that, we'll save the video, but the transcript itself will always be there within that check-in.
Yeah, some other cool examples I think that I've heard from managers are pricing. You know, they want to search pricing to see all the conversations being held around pricing, and then they could stack that up against, you know, tracking average order value in Ambition, trying to really work with reps on upsells or cross sells or not discounting too much. And another one was objection handling. Like if I could search for that, I could see how other managers are talking about objection handling. And if I'm a manager, I could look at some of those, you know, for my team if I wanted to, kind of thing. Another one that we're going to talk about is the Slack integration. So mentioned it before, but Slack is the new sales floor right now, could be ongoing for teams, which is what makes this so impactful. And in addition to all the alert triggers that you already have that sync from Ambition into Slack, whether it be like if someone gets a meeting set and their trigger fires in, or if closed one deal fires in, you could also have the private issue detection ones where it just fires into your own DM, like if someone's behind for the day. We're now bringing in leaderboards into Slack. So you could do like a / leaderboard command and actually bring in a leaderboard for any of your KPIs into Slack. What else do you guys know about this one?
Yeah, I'm really excited. So the / leaderboard command within the Slack integration is the first step. So once we support that, we can do more exciting things in the future. So this lays the groundwork for some really interesting Slack commands within for Ambition. So like it could be a check-in, it could be a competition standings, it could be anything within the Ambition experience pulled into Slack. So step one is that leaderboard. And another big thing here is this also just overall improves the authorization process, the setup process for that Slack integration. So.
And one question that came in was about Microsoft Teams or MS Teams. What do we know about any plans for that or lack of plans for that?
Yeah, right now the scope is focused on Slack only. But Kira, we can definitely follow up to dig in more to understand your needs there.
And it looks like another person, Rachel, wanted the same thing. Teams, MS Teams coming in.
I hear you loud and clear. Yeah.
This is definitely a great place. Oh, we got more Teams users coming in. I think let's just put it, everyone drop it in the chat if you're a Teams user or if you use something comparable to Slack that is not Slack, because we would love to know. Take it back to our product team. It looks like Justine Edwards, also a Teams user. Michael uses WebEx Teams. Any other team collaboration tools that your teams rely on? Okay, so it looks like those may be the big ones, and Nick can help set up a conversation with the product team and see what we can get going there. Cool. All right. Going on to the next one. Let's see what we got. Coaching overview experience. So this one is, correct me if I'm wrong, Nick, is this live today or is this coming this month?
Coming this month. It's in final review. We're using it internally, but we're very close. So the target is sometime in June. So hopefully within 2 weeks.
Okay, we'll let Nick demo this one because we do, like I said, we do see it internally. And some cool things you're going to see is, you know, an attribution line graph to show your coaching impact over time. And this kind of is leaning a little towards like showing some ROI behind your coaching in the dash. And you can also view, in addition to those hard KPI metrics, performance ratings in a cool way to show how some of the softer skills are being developed over time. And then also just get a feel for all the programs that your managers or team is running so that you can optimize and go from there. So I'm going to stop share and let Nick demo the new coaching overview experience coming potentially in a couple weeks.
Actually, I see Kelly from Strategics on. I know this one is something you're looking forward to. So from the left-hand navigation, there's going to be a new overview page here. And this takes you to this coaching overview page that has 4 tabs across the top. We can look at insights from a high level, attribution metrics that are tied to the program, ratings, and then those reports or exports. From the first tab, insights, the filters up here show or basically filter what's down below. So activity by week, I can just see high level visualization of notes, check-ins, and action plans created for that week over week timeframe. And then within that, this is a sandbox, so the data isn't perfect, but within that, you could see how many programs were created within that month or 2 month period, how many check-ins were completed, what was the completion rate, and so on. One thing that's really neat here for like an admin user or a director level user, I can take action on that right from this view. So based on my filters, Amanda has not had a check-in within the dates of March 13th to June 11th. So I can act on that right away. Click this, and since I'm logged in as her manager, I can go ahead and create a check-in for Amanda Danner. If I click on an employee that is not her manager, I can email that manager right away. And if you use employee ask, you'll also have a button here to ask that manager to create a check-in on their behalf. So making that more actionable, you know, bringing the data and allowing you to do something with it is a big focus here. The next tab is attribution. So I can pull in a program. Typically, you would only find this data through an export of that program. So I'll pick some users and then a metric that is tied to that recurring program. And I can see their change in activity score over the time or over the life of that coaching program. So it makes it a little more easy to view in-app instead of having to export it to a CSV, opening that in Excel and building your own report around that. So this is going to be new. And if there's any questions, please stop me. I'm just going to go through the other 2 tabs here real fast.
One thing I wanted to call out with the attribution graph, which I just think is so cool, if you're working with a rep on, say, like objection handling or something to get more meetings set, and that's something you're coaching them on every week or every other week, just in the session, pulling up the line graph and showing whether they're, you know, increasing or decreasing, or just really that specific metric of meeting set around the sessions shows not only their development, but you as a manager, like, hey, we've been coaching on this for X number of weeks and I've seen, you know, a 10% lift in meeting set from Andre. or if you're working on really dialing in your ICP, a lot of your sets are like no showing or ghosting, like, you know, pull up meetings held and see who's leading the charge on meetings held and like how they're dialing into the right ICP, like to really get quality meetings. I just think it'll be really powerful for people who are coaching with measurable end goals in mind.
I think when I think about this, I think about a number of my customers with, you know, managers looking to see like where they see the biggest lift. So say if they have some reps they uncover, there's some really, really like important shifts that you see take place. Start being able to share those learnings, like have some office hours where you take that rep in and say, hey, you know, rep XYZ has increased their metrics since we started coaching, you know, 22% or something. What are you doing differently? Let's sit down, let's have a lunch and learn. Let's help you share those learnings out with the rest of the team and start kind of crowdsourcing how we approach kind of the new normal, or now I think we've all shifted in the industry from the new normal to the next normal. So, you know, we're all kind of uncovering this new world we're going to be selling into. So there's some really cool ways to share insights, see who's, you know, responding to these coaching programs, and then taking some of their tactics and helping apply those to the rest of your teams.
Yeah. And me as a manager, I want to go to my director and be like, hey, on average this quarter, my reps set, you know, X% higher number of meetings. These are some things that I'm doing to impact that. Don't forget about me when we're not on a promotion freeze anymore.
The other two tabs here, we have ratings. So I guess back in February, maybe early March, we released the ability to customize your rating categories. So when you're going through a coaching check-in, you can see Alex received 3 ratings, 1 for preparedness, 1 for engagement, and then coachability. If your organization has your own measurement system that you'd like to build within Ambition, you can do that through our custom rating categories. But from this ratings tab itself, I can pull in a report showing all the ratings over time for specific users. So I could look for just Alex Weber and see all of his ratings. I could look at a manager level. So I want to look at everyone who is in Travis's team. I can look at groups, so all the ratings that have taken place within the business development rep team. And probably one of the most useful ones is to look at ratings below a certain threshold. So right now I'm looking at BDRs who have received 2 stars or less for their rating check-in, for their check-in rating. And I can see Russ received 1 star for preparedness, 1 star for coachability. So if you're logged in as like a manager or director, this might help you identify area of improvement. So for Russ, I could go in and find that check-in, go directly to that coaching event to have more context of why he received 1 star. Or if I see over time, Russ's preparedness has gone up, that might be something you want to celebrate. So you have that ability to dive directly into the check-in. And if you have the Zoom integration turned on when available, you'll be able to read the transcript right here from this view.
And one more quick note on that, Nick, I think you sort of alluded to this, but those categories, preparedness, coachability, those are completely flexible to be customized by anything the customer wants to track, right? Like if they don't track preparedness, but they talk about leadership skills, you know, that could be an option.
Yeah, definitely. And that's just done from the, if I go to coaching manage, there will be a rating categories section up here. And I can just create my own categories. So like leadership skills, and then just save that, and that will appear in any new check-in. So it's pretty easy to set up. One thing that's nice with these, if you accidentally deactivate a rating category and then turn it back on, you won't lose any data. We save all that in the back end. So it's just a hidden flag here. You can't delete it, but you can inactivate or reactivate that category.
Cool.
And the last tab within the coaching overview page that's coming soon is reports. You've always had access to these reports within the coaching system, but what's new around this is the start and end date filter. So historically, if you ran an employee utilization report, it would pull in coaching data from the beginning of time. So whenever that first check-in was, you would basically have that full time frame. But with this, I can now limit that to say, I just want to look at employee utilization for the month of May. Go in, select the start and end dates. And additionally, I could select a group type. So I just want to look at May for our business development reps and then download that CSV. Manager utilization is similar here. I can do a start and end date, and it'll pull a report for all of my managers. And then program, this is also available within the program itself. But basically, the data I'm going to get from this export is what I can visualize within the attribution tab here. So a few new updates within the coaching environment that have been very common requests. So we're excited to get this out there here in the coming weeks.
Very cool. Thanks, Nick. I'm going to head back to the next one. And it's Chad's favorite product release in the whole bunch, custom timeframe leaderboards. So Nick will demo this one and remind me, is this one live, Nick?
It is, yep. This went out on Tuesday night.
All right, so this one's live for everybody. And what this is going to let the customers do is really align leaderboards with their own fiscal calendar, whatever that may be. And some ways that I'm thinking of people might use it besides that being the most important. But like if you have like a little, you know, want to check the leaderboard for like a time frame that a contest ran, like go back and reference like, oh, what did we do in this one particular week, you know, and just pull that up and look at leaders. And don't forget, with the new Slack integration, you'll be able to drop these custom timeframe leaderboards into Slack as well. And like, I just imagine it being super cool to be able to in the morning, like drop a leaderboard in for the day or something, or a custom time frame, and be like, hey, whoever's got the most meeting sets by lunch gets to leave early for the day or something like that. So it's gonna be super cool. And Nick will be able to show it to us.
I had a question for coaching from Justine. We're really hoping to have notes and coaching open up to be visible to multiple admins. Is this something being worked on? It is, yeah. So this summer, we've been calling it the summer of coaching internally, but we're focusing on coaching permissions as a new update. So you'll be able to have multiple viewers of a check-in or a new coaching admin permission type. So we'll have some exciting updates. I'll be sure to follow up with you on that when that is ready to deploy. All right. So back to custom leaderboard timeframes. I'll start with the TV experience because this is probably the most applicable use case. So as I build a new TV leaderboard slide, there's going to be a new option within the metric selector for time frame. You'll still have all of your presets like today, yesterday, this week that will update on a regular basis. But if you're looking at a custom time frame, if you're on a fiscal calendar or a retail calendar, some of the weird ones like 445 or 545 weeks per quarter, you can configure that start and end time to fit that time frame. Basically, just go in and pick the dates from the calendar here. And then when you preview that, it'll show the selected time frame here under the metric name itself. So it's pretty easy, very simple to use. And additionally, it is also applicable here in the leaderboard tab. So as I look at a leaderboard in the app from time frame, it's just going to be the bottom option here for custom. Now I can go in and select my custom month. So if my month of May starts on May 4th and goes through, say, June 1st, I can view that time frame here within the leaderboard.
I think you guys hit it out of the park here, Nick. I think this is such a big innovation for our customers, especially. You know, I've had since I joined Ambition, been getting questions around how we can better support fiscal calendars, fiscal weeks. You know, I know Mike's on the call here. You know, they have a fiscal week that has always been a challenge to do accurate reporting for. So now this is a great opportunity for anybody to be able to report it. And Mary had a great example as well with the we've got questions for around showing, specific timeframes for like a 2 or 3 day competition. Now being able to have that leaderboard and track that as well is going to be huge. So really excited about this. I think we're going to get positive feedback from everybody across the board now. So pumped for this release for sure from the product team.
And we've actually got a question here about, the best way to go about setting it up, Nick, if you want to hop in the Q&A there.
Hey, Mike. So would you recommend using the start and end dates for the slides to set them up all in advance, or just tweaking at the beginning of each new month? Yeah, I know your team has a bunch of TVs, so trying to think of the best solution here. Chad, do you have any recommendations? You could do both.
Yeah, because the time frame is not going to be set for the slide at the start and end dates for the slide. You probably want to use the you'd utilize both, I guess, in there, Mike, in that example, so you could make sure that the slide went away, because then once you've gotten through that first month, you're going to have to go back in and reset those dates for the next fiscal month for you guys. So I think kind of using both combination there will make sure you're not displaying the previous month's data.
Yeah, I do like the idea of. Sorry, go ahead, Mary.
No, I was just saying this kind of gets into like global TV territory too, which I know we're talking about in some capacity. I don't know what's going on with that development, but I know this is sort of blurring the lines there.
Let me go back to my screen share. So you could, like you're saying, you could select a start date in the future. So if I know Q3 starts on July 6th, I could have the slide appear on that date, and then just pick the time frame settings to match that. So you could build it in advance with the deletion date being the beginning of Q4. So that is a good option.
Cool. Let me see if I can go back to my deck here. Okay. It's making me sign back in. I'm having a world of tech troubles today, y'all. Okay. Let's see. That was the leaderboard. Up next, we're going to talk about some Salesforce configuration sync. So let me pull it up here. Okay, so we've had a portion of this available for a while now, and this is kind of like this phase 2 of it. But with the Salesforce user and configuration sync stuff, now you can create and terminate users right in Salesforce. So for example, you can create users in Salesforce and it can automatically send their Ambition invites, which eliminates like the admin work of doing things twice for sales ops or sales managers or whoever. And some really cool ways that we're thinking that managers want to be able to use this or are, for example, like setting up roles in their Salesforce. Like if you have a brand new rep, you create them in Salesforce, it'll trigger their Ambition invite. You can go ahead and drop them in an onboarding role, which over in Ambition, they're already invited. They get an onboarding scorecard to help them ramp. They get an onboarding coaching program automatically to help them ramp. And it's all done just triggered off their initial setup in Salesforce. So it just saves a ton of time for teams with high turnover or enterprise customers or things like that. And it's just good for kind of data hygiene between the two systems. Similar concept with micro promotions. You know, you could update someone in Salesforce into like a senior SDR role and then automatically have them be enrolled in the senior SDR scorecard, senior SDR coaching, that kind of stuff. So this one isn't like super attractive to demo because it's kind of just a setup, but I'm going to let Nick show it to you guys.
So here I'm within our internal Ambition instance. Within integrations, if you have access to this, you can go to the Salesforce integration and you'll see a 4th button here for user sync configuration. And there's going to be 2 sections here. This top section has been around for a few months now, but basically from this, I can map Salesforce attributes to Ambition fields. So first, I would pick the Salesforce field that contains the input value that I want to map over to Ambition. So for example, right here, I'm going to sync user role from Salesforce to Ambition's group role. I could additionally add multiple fields to sync here for permission levels, for competition teams, any group type that you have set up. If your source of truth is coming from Salesforce, we can just take the management out of that and just sync those automatically for you. So this is for user attributes. The new feature that we've actually just finished, we're working on documentation, and if you'd like to turn this on as well, please reach out, because we can help you get this set up so that you can automatically invite, activate, or deactivate users based on certain filter criteria coming from Salesforce. So basically within this window, I configure those filter rules to auto activate, deactivate. So for example, I have one here for is active flag. So based on the filter summary, I can see there are 45 users within our Salesforce that match that filter criteria. I have other operator commands like equals, not equals to, values. If I add a second filter, let's say role name, operator equals, we'll say account executive, you'll see the spot checker will load, and it'll give me an immediate SQL showing that 6 people passed that filter criteria. And here I can do things like, does Colin pass that filter, and like it's loading the spot check data, and basically it's saying he passes that filter criteria. So this just gives you a quick way to check that your filter sync configuration is working as expected. 2 other things on this: you can automatically deactivate users that do not meet that criteria. It's default off. And you can automatically invite new active users that meet that criteria. So if you hire a new account executive and their Salesforce flag is active, we can automatically invite them and add them to Ambition. So this is pretty cool. If you use Salesforce and it's your sales team's source of truth for user attributes and for group hierarchy, things like that, this should cover all of your needs.
And remind me, Nick, is this one already live?
It is, yep. And it's also visible within your feature flags if you're an admin user. So
Cool.
you'd be able to turn that on, and we can help you set it up.
So if anyone has any questions about this, you can reach out to get help at Ambition or your CSM if you want to talk through it more, but definitely going to be super helpful for enterprise or high turnover teams. So super cool. Okay, we have a few more to go over. Next one is kind of small, but kind of cool. It's coaching notes enhancement. So notes over in coaching have been enhanced with rich text, which just makes them more scannable. They just function more like other systems like Google Docs or things that you're already used to using. And so a small thing, but should have a big impact if you want to show that off, Nick.
Yep, so I'm just going to pull up one of our demo accounts. So from the coaching timeline, from the quick actions, coach, leave a note, or from the left-hand nav notes section, you're going to have the same experience now with private or public notes. So as I type this out, I can use the rich text editor up here to bold. I can make numbered lists. I can do bulleted lists. And probably one of the most helpful updates is the ability to insert links here. So I can just copy and paste it here. But if I want additional settings, I can change the text to display. So I could say demo account, and basically that's still the hyperlink there. So a lot of new updates here within the note itself, relatively minor, but hopefully it's really helpful for managers who are using notes to help coach their teams.
And Nick, once the Zoom integration exists, how does that work with coaching notes? Is there an option to attach the transcripts to notes, or is it just check-ins? What's that like?
Yep, so it'll be within the check-in itself. So any any open or closed check-ins will have that ability to pull in that zoom as well as attaching notes to it.
Cool, thanks. Next one up is the analytics homepage. Again, this one's kind of tiny. It's really just a user experience thing. We have a lot of analytics users, and so we just wanted to make the experience a little bit quicker to either access your saved reports or create a new report. If you want to show that one off really quickly.
Yeah, this one's pretty small, but I know like for Mike, who's been in the Q&A, for his team, they have, hundreds of saved reports. So basically users want to go there before they were entered into just a preset report. Yeah. Historically, it was just an activity score, objective score for the entire organization. And if you have, 2,000 users, it might take a few seconds to load that big report. So basically, we're allowing the user to go straight into their preferred report or go in and explore data through a new format. So makes it a little more easy to use.
Yeah, I love this one just because, that it's the small things that make a difference, but it used to be a little bit confusing before to understand if you were going to be messing up a saved report or starting new. So this is just a cool update. I think I forgot one somewhere along the way. Did we already cover the VIP digest, y'all?
No, we haven't.
I skipped it. Okay. We're going to cover the VIP digest. I think this is live, but off by default. Is that right, Nick?
It is. Yeah. This is default off.
So this is something everyone could have access to if you want it, but you'll have to toggle to turn it on. Are they able to turn it on themselves or reach out to us, Nick?
I think we would set that up.
Okay.
Let me double check. Yeah.
Okay. So we can set this up for you if you want it. But essentially the VIP digest is going to let you see at a high level the programs that the managers are running in Ambition. And to me, it's kind of a nod towards ROI because you can see, hey, how many competitions, how many coaching, and then kind of stack that up against what your performance metrics were. Do you want to give a quick look at what that might look like in the inbox, Nick?
Yeah, so this is just from our help article on the weekly admin and external VIP digest. So basically, any email can be added to this email list. So it could be a user that doesn't even have an Ambition license. So like a VP or CEO or something. If they want, direct insight into what happened that week with an Ambition, this digest will show, based on their utilization, they have 2 active competitions, 16 active goals, and so forth. We do color code everything, so the cards will be red if there's 0 utilization of that feature, green if the features with 1+ records, blue for features that are not metric based, like number of TVs, and then we have gray cards for inactive features. So this email is pretty simple today. We do plan to make improvements to it in the future. But ultimately, yeah, it's a great fit for any stakeholder looking for insight into their team's weekly activities.
I think it'll be so cool to be like, oh, dang, our meeting sets were down last week. What happened? Stack it up against the digest and be like, well, we only ran 1 competition. Let's run like 3 different ones this week and see what happens to meeting sets, kind of a thing. So it's a little bit of a nod towards the ROI concept.
I think it's a huge feature as well to have that external option to provide. We get a lot of questions, especially on the enterprise side, with how can I provide visibility to execs that are not going to be in the system. They're not going to have the time to dig into a leaderboard or anything like that. So it could be a great feature for senior leaders within your organization to kind of keep apprised with the update and utilization.
For sure. And then the last one, I don't know that there's anything to show here, but I think it's live. Correct me if I'm wrong, Nick. Multi-currency support in Salesforce, yeah, which is cool for global customers.
It is, yeah. So this is basically just a flag. Multi-currency must be turned on within your Salesforce instance. But once that's enabled, basically we can turn that on with a support ticket. It's just a flag that normally takes a few minutes to turn on for your organization. But yeah, we have a little help doc here. Like, so ensure that it's enabled and configured in your organization's Salesforce. Email get help with your request to activate this feature. And if you need to reprocess historical data to to make sure all of that data is correct based on your currency, just include that in your request, and we can knock both out within the day.
Super cool. So I am going to open it up to questions about anything today or anything in general about your Ambition account, either if you just want a place to ask questions that can be totally off topic. But I also want to point out that in a few hours, we have another webinar called How Ambition Uses Ambition. It's the second one in a series, and today's going to be showing off how we do scorecards and gamification internally at Ambition. So if you're not registered for that to show up later, feel free to hit up your CSM and ask for the link, or drop us a note at Get Help at, and we can get you the registration link so that you can join if you're interested. But now I will open it up for questions about anything. If you want to know Nick's favorite color, if you want to know about global TV, now is your chance to ask anything. All right. No one's speaking up, so I'm going to guess that everyone is good and knows everything there is to know. We will send around the recording with a link that covers everything we went over today. You'll get the recording. If you have any questions, please, you know where to find us. And I hope to see everyone on the next webinar later in just a few hours. And then office hours happens every other week, so feel free to come to all of them because the topics are always different and you have access to product, CSM, really just a general variety of people in the organization to ask your questions to. So we hope to see you then. Bye, y'all.
Thank you.